All right, what is up, guys? This video is a little late because I was drunk as hell on Saturday while watching the fights. And honestly, I was super happy that Dustin won, and I was not in my right mind to record anything. The video would have been god awful. And then Sunday, I was busy watching football and hanging out with my family. I will have at least one non-prediction based video coming out this week, plus the prediction video for Saturday. I'm gonna start grinding out these videos, to be honest, and hopefully my channel will grow a little bit because of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into these fights. The card was really fun, and the main and co-main event was shocking as hell. It was another overall great night of fights to start out 2021. So the first fight here was Albizi versus Zumegulov. I'm never going to be able to say that dude's name right. It was a close first round that either fighter could have won, but after that, Albizi kind of took over. I loved his jab, straight punches, and his leg kicks. He was the more technical fighter for sure. I really prefer his straight and tight punches over Zalmegulov's looping heavy hooks. I think he got tired because of throwing them. I also like Albizi's grappling control and overall fight IQ. He's a very smart fighter for his age, and I'm really impressed with the kid. I think he can make some noise in this division. I'm looking forward to see what he does in the future. Zalmegulov's not a bad fighter either, and I'm looking forward to his fight too. Next fight was Nick Lentz versus Mozar Evilov. That was a pretty solid fight too. Again, Avilov got in trouble in the first round like he did against Mike Grundy. He had to show composure and great submission defense. I think he's going to be a tough fighter to finish. It seems like no matter what, you can't sub him. His striking does need a little bit of work, to be honest. As good as he is on the feet, Lentz was tagging him a lot at some points, and that's not what you want to see since Lentz isn't the best striker in the world. And apparently his eyesight is not good right now. Lentz actually retired after the fight because of eye problems. I hope his eyes are all right, and he's had a good career, and he seems like a good dude, so sad to see him go out that way. He did get beat up a lot. Anyways, it was a crazy pace the whole fight, and I was impressed that Avilov out-cardioed Lynch, which is not easy to do because Lynch is a dog, and he has very good cardio. He definitely seemed like the more fresh fighter at the start of the third round. He also busted up Nick in the third round with his jab, and even though Nick was in there and it made it seem like a fight, Avilov clearly won the fight. I do think he needs to work on some things, though, if he's going to be a factor. He maybe got a little bit exposed tonight. I keep saying tonight like I didn't watch these fights 2 days ago. But he's only going to get better, and he's still a fun prospect to watch out for. So this next fight, I won't lie, this fight was very shocking. Roundtree was my most confident pick of the night, and I was so wrong. I didn't really give Pragnio a chance because he's been 0-3. He's been knocked out in all three of his fights. But he came to fight. He definitely did better than what I thought he was going to do. Roundtree looked nothing like he did against Eric Anders, and I'm so sad about that. I think if that Roundtree shows up, he can beat anybody. But I doubt we will ever see that guy again. It seems that Roundtree has a lot of mental problems as well as fighting issues. He loaded up on his punches way too much in the first and third round. He did look good in that second round, and he showed flashes of that Eric Anders fight. He even hurt Pragnio bad. But he got way too tired, and his cardio is something he definitely needs to work on if he's going to stay in the UFC. And I'm not sure if he even gets another fight in the UFC. Maybe he does, because it does seem like Dana likes him. He came off The Ultimate Fighter, and Dana usually does like those guys. But I wouldn't be mad if he got cut. It was a very disappointing fight for him. I can't even be mad about the pick because I doubt a lot of people were picking Pragnio to win. And good for Pragnio because he was for sure fighting for his job in this fight. And he proved that he's a decent striker. I'm still not sold on his chin and overall potential in the UFC, but not a bad showing for him as a huge underdog. And he's definitely going to get another fight in the UFC, so that's good for him. Next fight. So this fight, at first it looked like my prediction was going to be right, and I was thrilled about it. Maybe that was just the booze in me, though. But it did look like McMahon was the stronger fighter in the grappling positions. I won't lie, she didn't do much while on top of Pena. She was even being outstriked from the bottom. Pena was tagging her ass with heavy hammer fist. Pena stayed patient, though, and in that third round, she got her down, and it was pretty much good as done after that. She easily got the sub. Also, I picked McMahon by third round sub, and of course she gets stubbed in the third round after looking decent and like she was going to win. This always happens to me in women's MMA fights. At this point, I was expecting Jessica Eye to head kick Calderwood later in the night. Good fight for Pena, though, but she does need to chill out with the call-outs and not fight Nunes right now because I do think she'll get destroyed, and I don't want to see that happen to her. Honestly, no one has beaten Nunes, but I definitely don't think Pena is the girl to do it. But still a good fight for her and good finish. And see what happens next for her. I think Sarah McMahon should probably retire. She's 40, which I did not know. I was shocked at that when I found that out. She still looks good for 40, but I think it's time. Her time at the top of the division's up, and she's never going to be a factor in there again. So then the next fight was Brad Tavares versus Carlos Jr., aka Shootface. I'm never calling him anything else but Shootface. It was a decent fight. I pretty much called it spot on. Brad's takedown defense is a thing of beauty, like I knew it was. I knew that Shoeface wasn't going to be able to control him on the ground, and definitely wasn't going to be able to submit him unless he was able to like mount him or catch him from the bottom or something crazy like that. Shoeface did do a lot better on the feet, though. I give him credit for that. In my previous video, I was saying that he was slow and plodding and he wasn't very good on the feet. I think he proved me wrong a little bit. He had a decent jab going until he got hurt in the second round. I do think Tavares could have got him out of there, but he accidentally hit him in the nuts, so Shoeface got to recover. Either way, Brad looked pretty good in this fight, and he was coming off a nasty knee injury, so I was impressed with him. He's a solid gatekeeper type of fighter. I mean, if you can beat Brad, then that proves that you can be top 15 or top 10 in the division. I don't know if Brad will ever get over that hump and be anything more than a gatekeeper, but he still will always be a solid fighter and someone to look out for. Next fight. Let's see. So, Matt Favola versus Arman. I'm not going to try to say his last name because I butchered it last time. But I pretty much called this fight right, too, other than he didn't really get the finish like I thought he was going to. But I'm still really impressed with Arman. He did get hit hard a few times, and Favola does have some power, and it never seemed to faze him at all. He also out-wrestled Favola, who's a solid wrestler in his own right. Side note, I still hate the way Favola holds his hands while he fights. He's just asking to be knocked out. And I'm aware he's tough, but God, I hate that. Just put your damn hands up. Please. Favola, I know you're not listening to this. Put your hands up. Anyways, it was a good fight, and I'm looking forward to Arman's next fight. I think he has a lot of potential, and I think he can beat a lot of guys in this division. He's very well-rounded, good on the feet, good grappling, and I think he could have got the finish in this fight too, but you know, he seems like he does have a problem with finishing. He hasn't got a finish in the UFC yet, but he's for sure a good fighter, and I think he will have that breakout performance soon. So on to the next fight. This was the first main card fight. Amanda Rivas versus Marina Rodriguez. And it was a great first round for Rivas. I thought for sure she was going to go get the finish in the second round. I mean, she was looking really good. But no, of course, she gets caught and she gets finished. The finish was super weird, though. She was already probably done after the right hand. And it looked like Herb stopped it, but then changed his mind. Or maybe he didn't stop it. I mean, it was very kind of controversial. He let her get hit a good 5, 6, 7 more times after that, and she was done. She wasn't. I mean, she was on chicken legs. She fell. She wasn't gonna come back. I was impressed with Rodriguez though. Her striking is legit. She has good footwork, nice straight tight punches. She could definitely be a factor in this division if she continues to work on her takedown defense. It's kind of like her only really fault in her game. I don't think Rivas is done either. She's still a solid prospect to watch in her own right. And another women's MMA fight that I got wrong. I'm like 0-5 for the year now, and I'm just gonna start skipping them at this point because I can't get them right. But good for Marina though. She was kind of getting overlooked in this fight because of all the hype that Rivas had, and hell, even I was kind of overlooking her a little bit. I knew she had good striking, but I didn't think she was gonna get the finish like that. I didn't think she had the ability to get the finish like that. But she sure proved me wrong. I'm looking forward to both of their next fights. I still think Rivas can be a star for women's MMA. And who knows what Rodriguez can do? She might be a dark horse for the division if she can tighten up her takedown defense. I don't think many fighters are outstriking her. So then the next fight, Andrew Sanchez versus Mahmoud Muradov. Muradov didn't get the early finish like I thought he might, but he still looked really good on the feet, and he was tagging Sanchez hard throughout the whole fight. Sanchez was really tough. Though I did notice about halfway through the second round that Muradov throws a lot of the same combinations, and he loads up on his shots a little too much for my liking. In the third, he finally started to throw some more different combos and tighter punches. He hurt Sanchez with a huge right hand and then threw this kitchen sink at him to get the finish. The man's buckled so hard, it was definitely over after that right hand, and there was no way he was recovering from it. That's actually the second third round KO in a row for Muradov, and it's Sanchez's third time being finished in the later rounds. I probably should have picked third round KO. I actually heavily considered it, but I just thought he was going to be able to find that shot earlier. I do like Muradov a lot, though, and he has great footwork, which is probably his best weapon. He's very good striking. He has power in both of his hands and super strong kicks. Watch out for him in the future. I think he can beat a lot of guys in the middleweight division. So the fight I was looking forward the most. No, in all seriousness, it was another fight that I called really well, other than the fact that it was a better fight than I thought it was going to be. It was very sloppy at times, which I knew it was going to be, but it wasn't a boring fight at all. The girls definitely came in to fight. And as much as I hated on Jessica, I got to give her props for that. JoJo pretty much outstruck her the whole time, though, as I thought she was capable of doing. Jessica's boxing looked okay, but she just didn't have the same tools that Calderwood has. Calderwood's knees, body kicks, and straight punches were landing a lot in this fight. She also did her best work in the clinch, which has always been her strong part of her game. It honestly seems that every time they broke from the clinch, Calderwood had something to hit Jessica with, whether it be an elbow, knee, or straight punch. I also got to say, I'm glad we didn't have to see poor Calderwood get murdered by Valentina. I mean, could you imagine that fight? It wouldn't be pretty at all. Anyways, not the worst fight ever, and I finally got a women's MMA fight right this year, so I'm happy about that. And thank you, Jessica Ai, for not beating up Calderwood. I appreciate it. So now we'll move on to the co-main event, man. This fight right here, holy shit, is all I could really say. What a flush punch that Chandler landed. And Hooker's not an easy guy to knock out. And Chandler did it quick and early, unlike many other fighters before him. Man has serious power in this division. He also knocked out Benson Henderson in his last fight. And even though Benson isn't, the same fighter as he was, but he's still super durable, and you don't get him out of there like that. And you got to feel bad for Hooker. I mean, he's taken a lot of damage the last few fights. And for sure, I think he needs to take a break and regroup. A lot of people saying he's going to retire because he took off the gloves in the cage, but I don't think he's going to retire. I think he was just frustrated in his performance. He needs at least a year off, in my opinion, to give his brain a rest. It wouldn't do anything but help him in his career. Back to Chandler, though. He really does get better on the feet every fight, though. I think he's definitely a top 5 fighter in the division. He's definitely going to be top 5 in the rankings when they come out. And he proved that tonight, that he's a top 5 fighter. I mean, you don't just KO Dan Hooker if you're not a top 5 fighter. I don't think he deserves the next title shot or anything. I think we need to slow our roll there. Maybe give him Gaethje, and if he wins that, then let him fight for the title. I do think he can beat anybody in the division, though. I mean, he's got good wrestling, good striking, power, good footwork. I mean, he's got everything. I think his chin is a little shaky, though. But you never know. I do think he can beat anybody in the division. And so now we're going to move on to the main event. Man, this fight hyped me up so much. I did tell y'all, Poirier is a different fighter now. He took Conor's best punches and he kept coming forward, unlike before where he got hit with that one big shot at 145 and he got knocked out. He got hurt badly in that first round, but he never gave up on himself and he kept throwing his shots and he was landing too. Conor did win that first round, but I wasn't worried, honestly. After that round was over, I knew the momentum would switch in Dustin's favor. The leg kicks he were landing were really affecting Conor, and Conor wasn't really checking them as good as he should have been, and I knew that was going to bite him in the ass. I also knew Dustin could hurt him with his hands. Dustin has huge power for the lightweight division, and his technical ability is one of the best in the whole UFC. I really believe that. He's improved so much over the years. I remember watching him back in the day against Josh Grisby, and to watch him grow from then to now is nothing short of incredible. I was one of the few people who actually picked Dustin to win. I truly believed that he was going to win, and he did it. I honestly could have got all my other picks wrong, and I would have been satisfied with this result. Congrats to Dustin, man. I mean, no one deserves it more than him. He's a huge inspiration to me and a whole lot of other people. He's someone who never gives up, and he always rises to the top, no matter how many hardships he has to overcome. I think Khabib will now officially retire. And just please let this man fight for the vacant title. I think, honestly, you should crown him the champ now. I think that fight should have been for the title, but it's okay. I get Khabib still wasn't sure, and Dana was kind of trying to convince him to come back, but I don't think he was going to come back. I don't care who he's going to fight for the title, the vacant title. I think Charles Oliveira probably deserves it the most, but who knows with the UFC and who they're going to go with. Dana was already talking about Chandler getting it in the post-fight presser, which I heavily disagree with. I like Chandler a lot. But you don't get the fight after one fight in the UFC. At least not. I don't think you should. I mean, Oliveira's won, 8 fights in a row? and he just beat Tony Ferguson. He deserves it for sure. And right now, I think Poirier beats everybody in the division. He's in his prime at this moment, and his mental game doesn't seem to like it's holding him back anymore. Oliveira and Chandler are tough fights for him, and maybe even the Gaethje rematch could pose some trouble for him. But I favor him against all of them, and I do see him becoming the undisputed champion very soon. And I don't think anyone deserves it more than him. He's definitely a fan favorite for a reason, and we all love Dustin Poirier. If you don't like Dustin Poirier, then you should probably stop watching MMA. This was such a fun night of fights, and 2021 has started off on such a high note. I'm looking forward for the rest of the year and making more predictions for you guys. I have a lot of more video ideas coming out soon too. I've been working hard on these videos, and I just hope it shows. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button for me and subscribe to my channel with notifications on so you don't miss a video. I'm going to have so many more videos coming out soon. I'll have a list. Like I said, I'll have a few list type videos coming out in the next week or so. Definitely in the next few days, I'll have my first one. I'm thinking that will really help my channel grow, and hopefully I'll start gaining more subs and viewers by the end of the month. I'm really working hard for these videos while working a full-time job. Either way, no matter what happens, I appreciate anyone who took the time to watch this video. And until next time, guys, see y'all.